Hi, and welcome to an update on traveling with your pet to Europe. If you're not familiar with this channel, you might not know that I have a whole series about all the things you need to do to successfully travel to and from the United States and Europe with a dog. We've been traveling with our dog Emma for about 6 years now, back and forth between the United States and Italy. And we found some shortcuts that help you maneuver the whole process of taking your dog in and out of the States and into Europe and making it a little bit easier. Well, today we're here to talk about some new rules that they've come up with. It just started in August 2024. And it's in addition to all the other things that you need to have paperwork-wise and things you need to prepare for before you leave. So this is something new, something additional. So apparently there has been an uptick in rabies across the world and within the United States, even though it hasn't affected dogs. There's been a rise in rabies in wild animals like skunks and raccoons and foxes, but not in the dog community. I guess the last verified case of rabies in a dog was in 2007. So that's not the reason, but they are trying to prevent the uptick from spreading further. So they've added one more piece of paperwork that you need to do, and it's not quite as simple as it seems. So this new form that you need is not about leaving the United States, it's about bringing your dog back into the United States once you've left. And there are a few things you have to check to make sure you're getting it right. Now, the government agency that oversees this is the CDC, Center for Disease Control. So you have to go to their website. I'm putting a link in the description below. And you need to look for the dog intake form or the dog import form. If you search either of those terms, you'll get the right website. Once you're there, you need to scroll down to where it says fill out the form. You click on that. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky, at least the first tricky thing. First thing it's going to ask you is, are you bringing a dog from a high-risk rabies area? If you're not bringing a dog from Italy, click on the little button that lists all the countries that are high rabies areas and check it out. From what I can gather, those tend to be some Eastern European countries, and in the EU, I think it's Romania and Poland that have high-risk rabies, but there are some other countries over there that definitely do. Italy is not one of them. Now, if you click on the button that says no, you will go to the low-risk rabies import form. If you click yes, you're going to go to the high risk, and that is a much more complicated form. And in fact, if you search online, usually the first thing they'll tell you is all the requirements if you're coming from a high-risk country, and it's pretty daunting. So be assured, if you're coming from Italy, you're coming from a low-risk area, you can click no on the little button, and you will be presented with a fairly simple form. It's basically asked about you, where you're coming from, some information about your dog. Now, there is one tricky part, and since we haven't actually done this yet, I filled out the form and it came back complete, but there is one question that there's still some question about, and it's causing confusion not only with the people who are having to fill out the form, but people at the airport who are having to let you on the plane at the flight desk. So that question is, what is your country of departure? Now, if you come from the US, you might be inclined to put the United States. If you're coming from Italy, you could put Italy. if you're doing a two-leg return where, let's say, you're leaving Rome and flying to Paris, is it Rome or is it Paris? Well, I cannot find any documentation about what that is supposed to be. The first-hand information I have is from my sister, who recently came back from Italy, and she had put United States as country of departure. And at the airport in Rome, they did not want a letter on the plane. They were confused. They couldn't understand why it was United States. They had some confusion about what kind of form you were supposed to have, and she nearly missed her plane. But eventually they relented, like they usually do, and they let her on the plane. Where she was asked for it and where it counted was when she entered the United States. At customs, they will ask for that form. Now, once you've finished filling out the form, you'll sign it and submit it. And you usually get a response very quickly. I think it took about 15 minutes for mine to come back. It said completed. It said you can print it out, and you can also have it on your phone and show them at the airport. Now, a good thing to know is that once you have the certificate, it's good for 6 months. So if you're traveling back and forth, basically the same route, you can use the same form. This is in addition to all the other paperwork that you're required to have. So you definitely want to have an up-to-date rabies certificate. You want to have either your USDA health certificate or an EU pet passport. Like I said, I have no firsthand experience with this yet. We filled out the form. It came back that everything was okay. And we're leaving in a couple weeks, and we'll be back in about 2 months. And I will give you an update then when I find out exactly how it works for me. Apparently, like I said, it depends on who you're talking to. My sister had the feeling that no one much cared about the paperwork. They just needed to have it, and they didn't really understand it. So as usual in Italy, they will give you a bad time about just about anything at the airport. We always show up in Rome as early as possible, like 3 hours in advance, because we always have some piece of paperwork about the dog that they don't like. And it's usually a misunderstanding, and we usually get it situated and rectified, but give yourself enough time. You'll be there right to the last minute. That's just a word of warning. It's hopefully you don't have the same kind of problems we have, but that's the gist of it. You do have to have this form. You fill it out before you leave. I'm guessing you can fill it out pretty much any time before you come back, because according to my sister, they didn't ask for the paperwork leaving the States. It's an import form. It means bringing the dog back. You can print it out and you can show them the phone version. My sister had both. They didn't particularly like either one of them, and they just gave her a bad time for about an hour and then finally let her go. Just a word of warning, but make sure you fill it out. Make sure you have it. If you have the form filled out and completed, you're in pretty good situation. Good luck. We'll let you know how it goes. We haven't been back in a year now, so we'll see how much has changed in traveling, but we're looking forward to it, and we'll see you in another video. If this has been helpful, please like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video.